Kwa nini mnakaa kwa meza yetu? Kwa nini mnakuja kukaa kwa meza yetu? Sasa jamaa wetu taikaoni kuona hivyo akaumwa. Mwanzo hapa mtazamaji ni kwa restaurant, sio kwa nyanya yako. Hii ni restaurant. Mtu analetwa hapa na pesa zake. Haya! Kaona akiwa na umama, akamuita Kamama.
Hey! Kamama,
pigwa shock. God of Thunder. God of Thunder. Akachomoka biguni, akakuingilia. Moyo wake unanyonywa. Cheki venye na ambavyo jamaa anakaushwa. Na Hanzo Hasashi is proud. Ako na machungu baya mbovu. Mtu nataka kuja kuuza uoga. Nakuja kuuzia nani uoga? Mimi ni mtu anawakilisha taifa mzima. Alafu mtu anataka kuja kuuzia mimi uoga. Mabirenya kibisa. Aberu chwadi. Mwanzo firirida imewekwa. Wewe kwanza kanasikia firirida ni ya Monyonyi. Kanasema mambo iko shwari kibisha. Nyitanagira na DJ Junior the Hindi kwambĩrĩria muthenya wa kiumia nginya aramithi ciahanda thaa 4 cia utuko. Nario muthenya wa Jumamothi ni ciahanda thaa 10 cia hwaĩ-inĩ.
Makerejaga Kere Biroiro Kia Jahi Mutaburuko wa Nyadarua Orerorera Kameme TV.
Na mwihoko wakwa munene mwiroreri wa Karavation ya Kameme TV. Muthenya waku ni mwega, muthenya wa keri wa kiumia giki tariki 24 mweri wa 10 mwaka wa 2023 aria hothe uratwirorera ni ihinda ria tabarira ya Ndurumeni Matuura-ini, na hane ho tukoragwo tukihungura matura matiganite tukaraniria na andikitwo mohoro magatumenyithia uria county ciao ciregariura. Ndakunyita ugeni wetikira gutwarana hamwe nanie na no turumirire kuhitukira Facebook ya Kameme TV Kenya kana ya kwa mundu kiumbe ya Gishimo Joseph tukoro tugitwarana wega thiini wa mutaratara wa tabarira eno. Tukwambiriria na kuria kaunti-ini ya Naikuru na kuria ministry ya ugima mwega wa mwiri na yugite ati oro mwaka a Kenya 2023 ni makuaga na ni kumana na kuhuthira njira citari nginyaniru hari mirugire yao ya irio thiini wa micii yao. Ni kumana na maya kuria thirikari itanyite gutigirira ati a Kenya othe ni mahuthira njira iria citari ugwati kuri ugima wao wa mwiri gukinyaniria mwaka wa 2028. Ministry ya hinya hamwe na unyitaniri na ruhonge rutari rwa githirikari rwa Clean Cooking Association of Kenya ni matafanetie mathomo kuri a Kenya kuria mucii munene wa Naikuru na niguo gutariria muingi njira iria citiganite iria mabatie gukorwo makiruga na njira njagiriru. Wanjari wa Kariuki ni mwandiki witu kuma kuria Naikuru. Wanjari angikorwo no rajigua geitheka twambiririe na riboti yegie irio.
Ndageitheka muno kire thiini wa mucii munene wa Naikuru kuria ministry ya hinya oro hamwe na thirikari ya county ya Naikuru hamwe na unyitaniri na honge itiganite iria irakorwo ikineana kana igithomithia andu maundu mega memainie na gukorwo makihuthira indo iria itakorwo igithukia riera kana hindi iria makorwo makiruga micini yao hihi magikorwo makiniria akinya na makiria aikari kuma county-ini ya Naikuru hihi njira iria cia mwanya magikorwo magitumira hiyo korwo nita gutumira thitima magithi na na kumenereria andu gukorwo magitumira ngo na gutumira makara maundu mamwe maria magicungagiria andu makorwo magitema miti na njira nene thiini wa mititu itu na undu uria ugicungagiria gukorwo kwina ucenjia wa riera gukorwo ni arikana gicimo na mwirori wa Kameme TV hihi bururi wa Kenya na thii yothe ni koretwo kiaririria na njira nene maundu megemainie na ucenjia wa riera na hihi ginya igongoni riri twagikorwo tugiuka na mwandiki mukaru thiini wa ministry ya hinya ni agikorwo agikinya igongoni riri na no guthii arathi na mbere na gukorwo agithiururuka indo iria tugitaga exhibitions thiini wa haha magikoretwo maikarite na ihinda riri reke ngorwo nginengera hihi CEO wa environment thiini wa county ya Nakuru iagikorwo agitwira county ya Nakuru ni twinikire na icigo bunge nyingi muno iria andu magikoragwo makiyukitie kana makahimbiria uhoro wa gukorwo makihuthira ngo na makara i county ya Nakuru gukorwo igika atia nigetha gutigirira atiriri hihi andu aya ni makorwo makihimbiria maundu maria mateguthukiria. Tanza na jina lako na labda tuambie kama county ya Nakuru mnafanya nini kuhakikisha kwamba watu wametoka kutoka kununua kutumia kuni katika manyumba zao?
Asante sana. Kwa majina naitwa Mungai Kennedy na vile umesikia mimi ndio Chief Officer wa Environment na Energy katika county ya Nakuru. Kuanzia leo mpaka siku ya Alhamisi tutakuwa tunasherehekea wiki ya njia safi za kutumia ama mapishi. Na sisi kama na county ya Nakuru tumetengeneza plan ambayo tunaita energy plan. Na hiyo plan itawezesha wananchi kuweza kufanya kitu inaitwa transition ama kuhama, kwa sababu saizi data inatuonyesha 69% ya watu bado wanatumia kuni na makaa. So tunataka tuwasaidie wananchi waweze kuhama, waweze kutumia njia mbadala ama njia safi za kupika. So tumetenga fedha za kufanya kitu inaitwa awareness ama kuhamasisha wananchi njia safi za kuweza kupika katika manyumba yao. Na giongerera na gikuyu njuge ati thirikari ya county tokoretwo ni governor witu Susan Kihika ni rutire kuthie icigo ciothe 11 cia county nigetha guthi guteithia kumenyithia andu njira iria theru cia kuhuthira kuruga. Na tweka uguo ntuko apart from kuteithia kumenyerera guthukia riera-ini nituguteithia andu matige gukorwo na mirimu iria ikonainie na kuruga na njira iria cikona giko. Na tweka uguo na budget-ini itu ntuko reduce mbeca turahuthira kurigita andu mathibitari-ini maitu. Na Nakuru county ni twirite njira ciganona kuhitukira kambuni itu ya mai itagwo na Wasco ni tuthondekete kiganda gia guthondeka makara, na makara maya marathondekwo na sewage ire koragwo igithi kundu kuria tukatuika treatment na treatment tukaruta indo ciothe iria cingiko ina potential ya kureha mirimu kuri andu. Tu encourage andu micii-ini yao mahote kuhanda miti, na mahanda miti ori magure njiko iria irahuthira taringi rukurumwe kana makara manini. Uguo noguo tukuhota kunyitirira even thirikari nene hari campaign ya kuhanda miti bilioni 15 tondu turikoragwo turahanda miti na tukamitema guthi kurugari tukorwo kuria tugana githungu tutiko beat logic ya kuhurana na uhoro wa climate change. Uguo niguo ingenda kuga na wiki ino yothe tukorwo guku na nigwira aroreri othe aikaria Nakuru maoke guku Nyayo Gardens moke meonereria maria marona guku kana exhibition mone njira ciothe iria cingĩhũthĩka njira njega cia kuruga. Na muthenya wa Juma Aramithi nitweta aikari othe a Nakuru aria maratorera Kameme maoke kuria prison GK prison kana kuria gwitu Nakuru tuhote kuhanda miti 5,000 tukahanda miti 5,000 muthenya wa Aramithi kuma the 8 nginya 10. Thengio muno mwiroreri.
Hihi kuria wa gicimo ni ukujitikiria ngoro ngikuonia umwe wa aria magikoretwo makioya ithenya riao ihiria gukorwo ria gutigirira ati mathukuru ni magikorwo magetiganirio horo wa gukorwo makirima makiruga na indo twitaga ngo hihi magikorwo makihimberia maundu mangi ma mwanya magutigirira ati hihi matinahuthira ngo uria tukimenyete ati mathukuru niguo makorwo magika. Labda tuanze na jina lako na utatuambia haswa ni nini mnafanya mashuleni kuhakikisha kwamba watu wanatoka kutoka kutumia makuni na kutumia njia badala za kupika.
Asante sana. Naitwa Joan Kinya, naomba kuzungumza kwa lugha ya Kimombo. Kwa majina naitwa Joan Kinya. sorry. I work with Clean Air Africa project under KEMRI. So under that, for schools, we have a transition program where we are partnered with. We've partnered with
sawa thengio kuria wa gicimo na mwiroreri wa Kameme TV no ikorwo kigwira macio ni maundu mama maria maraikorwo magithii na mbere na hii mwiroreri wakwa ngiko no ikorwo muhuri wakwa wa bica no ikorwo agikuonia ni exhibition iragithii na mbere kundu kwina njiko nyingi na maundu matiganite hihi andu maragithii na mbere na gukorwo makithomithio njira iria magikorwo makihuthira cia gutigirira ati matinakorwo makihurunja kana magithukangia riera reke gucokeria mwaro kuria kumania na ihinda riri tuguthitunyitanire na mwandiki mukaro ministry ya hinya mundu gwitwa Mr Alex ya gikorwo agitwira bururi wa Kenya iyutanyite gukorwo ugikate nigetha gutigirira ati nituma kumana na maundu maya mago na makara nigetha tutigirire ati ukihurana na bara ya ucenjia wa rera thiini wa bururi na thi yothe handu ya rĩmwe gucokeria mwaro yakwa ni Wanjeri wa Karugi kuma county-ini ya Naikuru.
Aya nĩ ngatho Wanjeri kuma kũrĩa kaunti-inĩ ya Naikuru horo wĩgiĩ mĩrugĩre mĩega na njĩra citiganĩte cia gũtigĩrĩra andũ nĩ marũmĩrĩra na nĩ maramata ũcenjia wa rĩera. Tukithii na mbere mũrũgamĩrĩri mũnene wa kambuni ya ũkui wa ndege ya KQ Alan Kiravuka nĩ orĩtie thirikari nene gwĩcũrania ũrĩa ĩngĩthukĩra kambuni ĩno kĩgĩna gĩa kũmĩteithĩrĩria kũgacĩrithia mĩhang'o yayo kuona ndĩrĩ irahota kwambĩrĩria gũthondeka baita ĩngĩmahotithia kwĩrũgamĩrĩra kũigana. Kiravuka ũrĩa wĩkinyĩtie gĩikaro-inĩ kĩa ũthũrimi wa baida ya kambuni ĩno mbere ya kamĩtĩ ya mbunge ĩgiĩ ũkui ningĩ nĩ atarĩirie mathĩna marĩa macũngĩrĩirie kambuni ĩno hathara ya mĩaka mĩingĩ hĩndĩ akagweta atĩ kambuni ĩno ĩrĩ thĩinĩ wa gacĩra ga gwĩkũra hatĩka-inĩ ya hathara ĩrĩa ĩkoretwo ĩkĩhanĩka kwa mĩaka mĩingĩ. Tuthikĩrĩrie gĩikaro gĩkĩ.
So sometimes you're not able to sell in USD in those countries, and then you're not able to convert it to USD so that you can repatriate the money because of the central banks in those countries. And it is actually a really big problem for us, and we have tried to use government and diplomatic channels to help us repatriate. But indeed, that is a slightly different issue. I think I was trying to address the question that you asked, which is our sales and expenses. And sales expenses could be not such a big problem were it not for the obligations that we have that we borrowed from the past. Honorable Chair.
Yes, I see your colleague wants to say something.
Honorable Chair.
Please introduce yourself once again for the benefit of the members who are not in.
Okay, Dalmas Okendo is my name. I'm responsible for government relations at KQ. On the question of selling in dollars in some, if not all, the network destinations, different countries have different consumer protection regimes, regulatory regimes. If you go to Burundi today, even the local people find it very difficult to access the dollar. And that means that in some cases you will be forced to sell in their local currency. There are cases, for example, where their reserve banks will give exceptions, but even then, if a consumer raises an issue depending on the consumer protection regime in that country, we are still forced to revert back to the local currency, and in which case repatriation, once you sell in the local currency, becomes a difficult challenge.
Thank you. Lastly, CEO, I think your low-hanging fruit seems to be government business. Do you have, and I, the gentleman, I actually wanted him to remind me of this title. He deals with the government relations. Do you have an office dedicated to government business? Because there is a lot. Recently, I traveled to UK with I think I was accompanied by 2 members and a gentleman. I won't mention the government agency, certain CEO, and he told me he used Emirates because your rates were very, very high. Why not dedicate a team or an office that would deal with government and government agencies to tap in that business, because it's a lot of business that you are losing to other airlines. And I think that can help you raise significant revenue.
Indeed, Chair, you're completely correct. The lowest hanging fruit is government business. That is for sure not in doubt. In fact, Honorable Chair, in many countries which have national carriers, the government officials are compelled, they are not requested, they are compelled to use their national carrier. All these airlines around us, they compel their parliamentarians, executive and judiciary officers. As long as the government is paying for them, they have to use the national carrier. They are required to use the national carrier. If they don't use the national carrier,
Aya nä gäikaro kä rä a kä ragäthiä na mbere å horo wä giä kå honokia kambuni ya Kenya Airways na å horo å rä a ä gä koretwo ä gä thondeka hathara mä aka mä ingä. Gavana wa bengi nene gũkũ bũrũri-inĩ Kamau Thuge nake nĩ kinyĩtie mbere ya kamĩtĩ ya mbunge ĩgiĩ kĩgĩna kĩa mũingĩ na nĩguo gũtarĩria kĩrĩa gĩacũngĩrĩirie ciringi ya Kenya gũthiĩ na mbere na kũhotoma ĩkĩringithanio na ndora. Ũndũ ũmwe ningĩ nĩ atarĩirie mũbango wa thirikari harĩ kũng'ethanĩra na thogora wa igũrũ wa irio gũkũ bũrũri-inĩ. Kamĩtĩ ĩno ningĩ no ĩtanyĩtwo gũcemania na nginyagia rũhonge rwa kũngania magoti bũrũri-inĩ KRA na nĩguo gũtarĩria ũrĩa ũngania wa magoti ũkoretwo ũgĩthiĩ na mbere. Tũthiĩ ĩmwe kwa ĩmwe gĩikaro gĩkĩ nakĩo kĩrĩa kĩrathiĩ na mbere.
On the items to address, and for December, obviously, we met all of them, and the disbursements were made. So what they'll be coming to do is look at the performance through June of this year. And I believe we've also did well, but all those are basically in public knowledge. There's nothing new that they are going to come and put additional conditionalities on the existing program. But I did say that going forward, our intention will be to ask that they augment the resources they are going to give us from the 400 million to something higher. And that something higher would also now be used to reduce the amount of domestic borrowing from the National Treasury and address the chairman's concerns about the high interest rates and the crowding out of the private sector by government. I don't know, Chair, whether I've covered generally most issues, but if I haven't, maybe I can, somebody can prompt me.
Thank you, Governor. Maybe the first thing that comes to my head is what if we don't get the $1 million from the donor? So what happens? And I raised a very concerned question about the foreign exchange trading income of commercial banks. I don't think you have addressed that. I also asked on. You say that the exchange rate has been overvalued for quite some time, and our currency had been overvalued for quite some time, and that was a temporary exchange rate. And I said, then don't you think then that temporary exchange rate is better than now where we are, because it has where the exchange rate is now has a multi effect on many things, including our collections in terms of taxes, and most importantly, our repayment of debt.
Maybe Chairman, so that I can answer both. Governor, the rise of difference of $1 leads to 46 billion debt in our country. Now we are at 150, 151. Don't you think the debt will skyrocket in these few months as a result of this exchange rate? And secondly, Governor, as an expert who has worked in Bretton Woods institutions, tell Kenyans on eye to eye where they will be by 30th of December in terms of exchange rate. Will it be in 200 or less? And this false thing that our chairman has consistently asked you is, if there was exaggerated, how do we sort out the exaggeration so that we become normal?
Mr. Governor, you may respond to those follow-up questions.
I think on the issue of the overvaluation, as I said, it's not a new thing. These were even discussions that were there some 5-6 years ago. And Chairman, there are some you can't hold an overvalued exchange rate forever. And what normally happens is you lose reserves trying to defend a particular level of the exchange rate. Then you deplete your reserves and you get to the point where you can't do it anymore. At that point, your exchange rate is so much misaligned from where it should be that and you don't have the instruments to be able to address it, that when you now get a shock like the shock that we experienced last year, then you have this significant increase in the depreciation. So to say that we can just maintain an overvalued exchange rate, it's not possible. You're going to lose all your reserves, and that medicine will be even worse. Because imagine, Chair, you try to maintain an overvalued exchange rate, and our level of reserves right now is, as I said, it's about almost $7 billion. So if we were to lose more reserves, we would go into a situation where that even foreign investors and even those people who have lent us loans, where they start wondering, will we be able to have the foreign exchange to pay our debts? So introduce a lot of uncertainty, and the exchange rate will still depreciate if it's not at the level that the fundamentals, the competitiveness, if it's not at that level that is determined when it's artificial.
Nĩ ndeto cikĩgie ũhoro wĩgiĩ mbeca gũkũ bũrũri-inĩ na ũndũ ũmwe na kambuni ya KRA kana rũhonge rwa KRA na CBK nĩo mekinyĩtie mbere ya kamĩtĩ ya mbunge ĩgiĩ kĩgĩna. Twambe twĩkĩrie oro hanini mũrĩrĩ wa Kameme TV nĩ ngũkorwo ngĩcokereria thutha wa ndagĩka citarĩ kũnene, ngũririkanie kũnyandĩkĩra nĩ Facebook ya Kameme TV Kenya kana yakwa mũndũ kĩũmbe ya Gĩcimo Joseph.
Kameme TV.
Upendo huvumilia, upendo hufadhili. Hauna wivu, haujisifu, wala hauna kiburi. Upendo hauji kwa masharti, bali hukusudia kutoa tu, wala sio kuchukua.
Kupata upendo kama sikiza tune yako, dial *811 *621#.
identify yourself?
Listen up, ladies and gentlemen.
Oya mzito. Wewe, hebu kam nikuplug. Niko na ile kitu imebamba kila mtu kutoka Maslay Queen wote hadi wazae. Hii kitu ni noma kuruka. Kitu kali itakupeleka dunia ingine. Hii stuff ni kama magic. Ni wetu umebaki mse. Hapa utaweza kuexperience EPL yote. Magame haziwezi kupita na pia unaweza pata ma statistics manze. Na bado kuna ma movies, series, soaps, cartoons na documentaries. Na kama wewe ni msichana like ma podcast, live radio, DJ mixes na hata live television, hapa uko sorted. Na unajua ni aje? Ni sare. Ni sare kabisa. Download the K24 Plus app upate free premium shows bila kesi.
Stream premium content popote ulipo. K24 Plus. Come nikuplug.
Murumo wa kigosho nĩ cama wa karingaringa ndarama ona ciegamba uka inyuothe tũgoce Jehova thĩinĩ wa ũnene wake na ũthamaki wake. Ni o mũthenya wa gatano cianda thaa 4 cia ũtukũ nginyagia thaa 7 cia ũtukũ na kiumia cianda thaa 1 cia mĩaraho nginyagia thaa 9 cia hwaĩ-inĩ. Kũhĩtũkĩra Jesũ reke tũthiĩ na mbere kũnengera Jehova igongona rĩa kĩgoco. Gũkũ gwa Kameme TV mũthegi wa rũrĩrĩ.
Aya nituthie na mbere na ripoti cito thiini wa tabarira ya Ndurumeni Matuura-ini na tugithie na mbere kamiti ya bunge igie gukinyaneria ni yonanetie kwaga kuiganira na makinya maria ministry ya githomo etacoketie na nigetha gutigirira ati aciari na maheo wiyathi wa kugura uniform kuria mekwenda mateguthingirerio ona hanini. Akiaria mbere ya kamiti no minister wa githomo Ezekiel Machogu ninge neugite ati ni marutite mwerekera kuria arugamiriri othe a thukuru gutire ati muciari kana thukuru efatie kwenderia aciari uniform citiganite mwerekera uria ministry irarumanirira naguo kuona ne wakinyaneirio na tuthie mwe tuthikiririe Machogu agitariria mbere ya kamiti ino.
I have very many children in my sub-county who've lost school opportunities. They have dropped out of school because they were chased away because they did not have money for uniform. They are not chased away because they don't have uniform. They are chased away because they did not pay the physical money and receive it as uniform money. It is my assumption that we should allow the parents of Kenya to source for uniform where they can be able to get that uniform, whether they are tailors, they can make the uniforms themselves, or they have kids and relatives and neighbors who are tailors who can assist in the making of uniform. We should allow our tailors, the many that we have trained in this country, members of parliament in the house can confirm that a lot of money from CDF, a lot of money from GAF is going into village polytechnics, sponsoring learners on tailoring. We should therefore, as a government, through the Ministry of Education, provide a legal framework that will allow those many tailors we are training in the villages to start making uniform for their neighboring schools. How do we do this? By making sure that uniforms are made locally, are paraded in every shopping center, in every market, and let every parent buy uniform where they are in, where they live in. You can imagine the pain of a parent in Mombasa who has a child in Maryhill, in Thika, has to drive all the way from Mombasa to come to Maryhill, pay physical money for uniform so that he or she can be directed to a certain shop in Thika town. That parent in Mombasa should be given the freedom and the opportunity to procure uniform in Mombasa, prepare in Mombasa, bring the child to Maryhill when already the child has everything. Mr. Chairman, I don't want to take a lot of time because I think the issue of uniform is very emotional. It is very emotive. I appreciate that the minister and his team has found it worth to come up with a circular. But as a mover of this motion, I feel the circular is not satisfactory. We need a legal framework. We need to allow parents of Kenya to have the freedom to purchase uniform or make uniform at affordable prices. We also need to cap the amount of money that we should spend on uniform. Mr. Chairman, I don't understand why we have allowed the matatu conductors to wear one uniform, whether the matatu conductor is in Nakuru or in Homa Bay, they wear the same uniform. And therefore, the matatu conductors can procure that uniform anywhere. Even when they forget in the morning, they just walk into any shop and ask for that red trouser and that red jacket. I also don't understand why Kenyan medical training colleges wear one uniform across the country. So if my child is in Meru and has been admitted in a training college, medical training college in Homa Bay, I can buy the uniform in Meru. Why do we have to put our parents in secondary school, especially in secondary school, into the labor pains of looking for uniform? Mr. Chairman, through the chairman to the Waziri, as a parent, because I am a mother, when I am pregnant with a child, I start planning on how to buy clothes for my unborn, because I know one day I'll deliver. Our parents should be given an opportunity to plan, also to procure uniform. When a child is 2 years old, the mother can start planning because they already know that one specific uniform that will be needed when that child gets to grade 1. The parents should be given an opportunity also to plan. Let them pay kidogo kidogo, the little money they can be paid to a local tailor. By the time the child is going to grade 1 or Form 1, because you already know what type of uniform you will require then, you can start planning in advance. Waziri, I'm sure you are aware, there are women who even knit sweaters. In my constituency in Githunguri, women knit sweaters through crocheting. We have killed that skill and that art. Because even if I am a knitter, I cannot knit for my baby who is going to grade 1. Because even if I go with that sweater, I'll be told the knitting fashion is not the same, the thread you have used is not the same, the color scheme is not the same, and my knitting sweater will be discarded and I'm forced to buy another one. Why are we killing arts? Why are we killing skills? Why are we rendering so many Kenyans jobless? Yet we can provide for jobs by coming up with a standard uniform. And when I say standard, I don't mean that the whole country wear the same color. No. You are the minister. You can advise us, and that is why we are asking for a policy. We can assume that every county can wear their own color so that tailors in that county can be empowered to come up with the same color, the same garment for different levels. For example, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, we can decide from grade 1 to grade 4, children will be wearing this fabric, this color. The difference between this school to this other school, it will be the badge. We introduce a badge and say, let's introduce a badge to identify schools. But let the colors be the same, the fabric be the same, so that people can be allowed to make the uniforms in the locality. Mr. Chairman, I don't have much time to move this, but I am here as a mother, as an educator. I'm a teacher by profession, and I know the pain most parents in this country are going through the procurement of uniform. And I have read the regulations that manages education in Kenya. I have not seen any piece of law or any piece of regulation that allows a head teacher, a principal of a school, to be the procurement manager for uniforms. It is grossly irregular, and I am not so convinced that the circular you have released will be enough to tame these menace. Thank you.
Move of this motion quite some time. This room needs to be used, so please let's take another 5 minutes to conclude. Yes, motion.
I want to thank the CS for appearing on this issue, and also the Honorable Amushoba for bringing this to national attention. Chairman is very brief. one of the issues that I request Waziri is that in his circular, he's been specific to secondary schools. I would have hoped this would have been open to also primary and JSS as well. Because this issue, according to Amashomba's motion, I believe it's cross-cutting from primary to secondary schools. But also, the only issue that I want to add is the issue of standardization, as mentioned in the motion. If perhaps Waziri, when he goes and looks back at it, because the way he's put it here, if we were to table this on the floor, I'm sure members of the House would really give us the position that Wamoshoba has given us. Perhaps you can give us, I would recommend that we get a more detailed standardization framework from the ministry so that a uniform that is bought for a school here in Kiambu, in Nairobi, is at the exact same price as the one in Meru, so that I think the government was trying to do the same thing with even unga at some point, trying to standardize prices of unga across. If somebody decides to go for a more expensive one, it's up to them, but there should be a basic minimum price for this uniform. So that way, I believe you will have been able to make sure we protect, especially the low-income households, from exploitation, because that is the main issue. So to me, I think I'll just say that because I think Wamoshoba has quite put it in detail.
Thank you, Honorable Makar.
Thank you. First is to thank the mover and sharing the passion with each the motion. And
tukiuma thini wa riboti yo tuthie nginya kuria kaunti-ini ya Embu na kuria kiama kia ahuri biashara gia Chamber of Commerce kuria kaunti-ini ya Embu hamwe na munini wa bũrũri wa Pakistan ni maracaria ngwatanĩro ya biashara na thirikari ya kaunti ino ya Embu. Ngwatanĩro ĩno ĩtanyĩtwo gũkorwo ĩkĩguna arĩmi a indo citiganĩte na nĩguo kũmateithĩrĩria kuongerera magetha mao.
Tukinyita ũgeni munini wa embassy ya Pakistan uria ukite guku ni gutumenye maundu maria mangivota gwikika guku Embu makonie urimi makonie kithomo ni gutuvote kuona kana tunyitanire nao particularly ni turenda kuroria maundu makonie ciana icietu iria colleges iria ciitagwa TVET toni turenda kumenya skills ya ciana cietu ingivota kugia niguo mavote gutuika ni maratuika andu mangivota gutumika na gukunja gĩa kairi turenda kuroria urimi na particularly turaroria urimi uria ungirafota kureta farmers vamwe niyo tureta aggregation ni makavota kuungania indo zira mararima vamwe ni kenda kono ivota kwendekia especially nja ya Kenya tukakuona kana ni tukuvota guciendia ni turenda kuroria maundu ta urimi wa nduru kana viriviri ni turenda kuroria urimi ta wa kwiga njuki ni gutuvota produce okay ni turenda kuroria urimi still wa tuge ng'ombe na mburi cieria nigetha tuvate kumenya ni maundu mariku mangi kika tukafata gucenjia indo ira turagia kuma ng'ombe icio tugaitua gi tukafata guitua bata tukafata gu export kuria nja ni twariria nginya maundu makonie ngandamia na cashew nuts na maundu maria mengi mangivata gutuika koguo ke ara insist kolo no tuvata kuthie nginya njira ingivata gucenjia urimi wa kawaida andũ mararimaga mbembe mavata kuonwa undu mangiendi mangigura kindu mangirima kindu kingivota kwendwa igatuika ni gia kuthondeka mbia so thirikari ni ya county nayo ni twarikania nayo ni gutunyitirira niguo tuve environment mbega na permit yetu ngo tukienda na yetu fothie kuigia na kungekuwa kwina research irendekana kana maundu maria mendekanaga ni international kana nthi cianja nikenda indo iria turakuria kwivota gukinya nthi cianja nao ni makuvota gutuvota kwa magitutethia na maundu mau na kithomo niguo tuvota gukorwa tukirima twi vamwe.
Thirikari ya kaunti itemiria ni ririko kwithia variations icio
itemiria thirikari ya kaunti kindu kia mbere ni gutuva yera riega ria uruti wa biashara kindu gia kairi thirikari ya kaunti ni evata gukorwa ina information kana maundu maria tungikwa tukivatara makonie urimi makonie biashara koguo na ninge no maretaga nginya investors taru nio turunginyitania nao niketha akwa kwi investor enda guka guku etikirwe kurutira wira guku Embu koguo thirikari ya county ni na bata muno thiini wa urimi na thiini wa biashara iria turaruta na gitumi tutuite tua ria kunyitanira nao wavo thirikari yo ni gwitana nio waitikire kwandikanira metikaniria maria mangitikirika gatagati ka thirikari ya Embu na thirikari ya Pakistan niguo maundu maria monthe tungivata gwikwa tugika especially maria mankawa magitethia murimi wa kawaida kana muruti biashara wa guku Embu matuike nimo maundu maria tungi embrace ka tungi nyita njara niguo mabata gutuika no matukinyithie kinyo ringi rimwe.
So this is LD Khan, commercial counselor for Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi and Eritrea. Today I am visiting Embu County, the National Chamber Kenya Embu chapter. We are initiating collaboration for the exportation and importation of multiple products that Embu is growing, especially agriculture and agri-business, and the technology which is used in the agriculture sector. And so far as education, the technical education and capacity building and formulation of the human capital is concerned, we are quite have a good progress over that. And in the future, we will sign an MOU and collaboration between the two sides, because Pakistan is the country that is quite receptive to the Kenyans, because we have a quite good relationship for the long 76 years. So we are to further progresses and to further strengthen it, and will expand it with the passage of time. And I am very much thankful to the Embu University as well as to the Kenya Chamber Embu chapter. Thank you.
And maybe how much are you looking for, like in agriculture?
Agriculture is one of the most potential area. Agriculture opportunities are available over here. The fruits and vegetables are in abundance. However, processing and technology upgradation and upscaling is required, and that's we have. So what we will do in the future, the Pakistani companies will come over here. They will upgrade their standards, their technologies, because like Pakistan is very much proficient in agriculture and farm machinery, tractor, and the technology, the modern technology which is used in agriculture, so that we can multiply the production of the Embu County, and definitely and ultimately the Embu farmers will benefit from it.
Will you be getting now the market for the farmers, and maybe the capacity that maybe you're needing from them, from the specific value chains?
Absolutely. So it will be a win-win situation on both the sides. We have the strengths and the capacity building, the techniques to be given to the farmers, and the Kenya government or the Embu County has the specialty and the very much proficiency and the growth and production of the agriculture production, fruits and vegetables. So we can aid into it, and they can develop their value chain definitely, and it will result in the value addition of the products, and will fetch more money to the farmers, and ultimately we will be adding to the farmers of the Embu County, and we will be pleased for that.
Do you have a time frame in which maybe you'll
we have decided that we will do it at the earliest, because the good work, the earlier you do it, the better it is, because time is money, and we should not wait for time, because time is on our side, and everybody is ready over here. The Kenya National Chamber Embu chapter is quite ready, and the Pakistan High Commission in Kenya.
Aya no tuthiete na mbere na mehariria ma kigeranio gia KCPE oro undu umwe na kigeranio gia KPSEA no marathie na mbere guku arutwo magitanywo kwambiriria kigeranio giki muthi wa mwambiririo kiumia-ini twerekeire. Arutwo riu na arutani ni maugite ati ni meharirie wega, na ihinda-ini oro riu maugite ati giki nikio kirathi kia muthia gia kanana, na uguo mwaka ukite magakorwo makiingira thiini wa mutaratara wa mathomo wa CBC. Mwandiki witu wa mohoro kuma kaunti-ini ya Kirinyaga etagwo Wainaina wa Kiarie, na ni aramurika ndeto eno kuria araniirie na anyiti itemi matiganite. Wainaina, mwarono waku?
Aya, thengio muno na ricikigie mehariria ma kigeranio gia KCPE ndomwe na gia KPSEA kiria gigitanyitwo gukiambiriria Jumatatu ya kiumia giukite. Ugikiririkane ati arutani no magithiite na mbere na gukihariria arutwo ni gugitigira ati kigeranio giki ni magikorwo magika wega. No ikiririkane ati giki ni kigeranio giki gukorwo gikia muthia gia kirathi gia kanana, kuona ati mwaka ukite tugukire na kirathi gia kanana, no tugikorwo tugikenaniria na murugamiri munene wa thukuru wa municipality mwena wa Kiruya ya gitutaririe mehariria magikihana na rĩngĩ maragĩkorwo magĩgĩtanya maumĩre magĩkorwo magĩkihana atĩa na rĩngĩ harĩ kĩgeranio kĩa KIPSEA o ũndũ ũmwe na mathomo ma CBC makoretwo magĩkĩmatwara na njĩra ĩhana atĩa. Bwana Solomon, thengiũ mũno gũkũkĩrania na ceceni ya Kameme TV higo kendo gwĩkwĩrĩrio ro haha na ũgĩtũtarĩ hihi meharie makĩgeranio kĩrĩa gĩtanyĩtwo kĩambĩrĩria mũthenya wa Jumatatũ magĩkihana atĩa rĩngĩ matanya manyu harĩ maumĩrĩra magĩkihana atĩa kwa ihinda rĩrĩ.
Thengiũ mũno bwana Kĩarie nĩ ũhoro wa matĩ kwĩna igerio igĩrĩ thĩinĩ wa primary school, kwĩna KCP na KIPSEA. KCP nĩ ya class 8 na KIPSEA nĩ ya grade 6 nĩguo mathiĩ junior school next year. Igerio icio cierĩ ina ngũrani nĩ tondũ KCP nĩ ya placement, kana mwana areka kĩgerio kĩu nĩgetha amenyeke secondary school ya kathiĩ kũringana marks ciake na nĩ tagwo exams for placement. No KIPSEA ya grade 6 ya placement nĩ evaluation exam, tondũ ciana ciothe harĩ nĩ gũtransit to the next class and mostly kiroko rĩa irĩ kana mwarimu kana mũcereketha thukuru wĩngĩ na koguo kĩgerio kĩu ya placement. No kũrĩ o ũguo nĩ wega ciana iciĩke wega igeranio ciothe either nĩ grade 6 kana class 8 na ũndũ ũngĩ nĩ atĩ class 8 2023 KCPE nĩ ya form history na mũno nĩ tondũ nĩo a mũico gwĩka KCPE either system ya 844 na koguo tũtanyĩte the next 5 years 844 nĩ korwo yathira ithuĩ tahana ta primary schools nĩ tuga bye bye to 844. Koguo next year rĩu twĩ CBC proper hatarĩ kwarĩrĩria thukuru yothe and we look forward tondũ nĩ kwetwo na challenges nene mũno manage 844 na CBC at the same time. Tondũ methodologies cia teaching cia 844 na CBC nĩ ngũrani. Koguo 844 nĩ we nĩ exam oriented, ciana ihĩtũke igerio ithiĩ secondary school ya njega. No CBC tũfocus na igerio, tũfocus na competence kana ũhoti wa mwana kũringana ũrĩa Ngai amũrathimĩte kana talent ciao. Koguo next year ndĩ na ma primary schools ciothe thĩinĩ wa Kenya nĩgũkorwo na mahinda mega mũno tondũ tũkorwo na one philosophy, one way of doing things, one system. No tũkĩwicĩte even secondary school the next maybe 4 years will also reach where we are na tukimere it will be good and we are looking forward to our CBC pure system from next year. Yes.
Mwarimu arutani arĩa marakĩrĩ hau kabere magĩkorwo magĩbundithia system ĩno ya 844 rĩngĩ mwaka ũkĩte magĩkorwo makĩingĩra CBC ĩkĩrĩ yothe rĩngĩ mathomo maya nĩ mũgĩkoretwo mũgĩkĩmatete nĩ magĩkorwo magĩkĩingĩra na mũtaratara ũyũ wa CBC.
Reke tuge training ndĩthiraga tondũ it's continuous na nĩ twĩta retooling na nĩgetha CBC ĩgacĩre kana ĩtuĩke ĩtuĩke effective no nginya retooling ĩthiĩ na mbere, arutani mathiĩ na mbere na gũthomithio ũhoro wa CBC tondũ mũthomithĩrio wayo wa CBC the teacher is called a facilitator, nĩ mũndũ wa facilitate learning na tũroiga towe ũĩ ona ciana nĩ ciũĩ kaũndũ karĩa areka atĩa maka discuss. It's a way of provoking children maka have the ideas. It's a learner-centered system. Koguo hena bata mũno mwarimu athiĩ na mbere gũtuĩka retooled nĩgetha rĩu acenjie ũrĩa athomithagia thĩinĩ wa 844 athomithia thĩinĩ wa 844. Koguo thirikari kwenda organize those trainings at county level, sub-county level, at the zonal level na mathukuru wenyewe mangĩhota kuorganize training ciao no wega.
Kĩũria kĩa mũthia mwarimu rĩngĩ kũrĩ na mendekithia marĩa makĩrĩga gũkĩheanwo na magĩkiuga atĩ ona arutwo aya a grade 6 magĩkorwo magĩka kĩgeranio megũcoka thukuru ĩrĩa marakĩrĩ na magĩgĩthiĩ na mbere rĩngĩ nĩ mũrahota gũkorwo mũgĩkĩona mũtaratara ũyũ nĩ mwega na rĩngĩ mendekithia maya nĩ maratwarana ũrĩa mwakoretwo mũkĩharĩrĩria.
Ithuĩ no twĩte aciari me free gũtwara mwana kũrĩa marenda thĩinĩ wa junior school especially thĩinĩ wa private schools. Gũtirĩ watho ũrauga atĩ no nginya mwana aikare kũrĩa athomagĩra. No wega ikare kuo mũciari angĩenda ona hamwe na mwana angĩenda no mũciari na mwana mena freedom ya kuthie kwetha junior school ira marona niyo igutithia mwana wao koguo there is that provision.
Thank you muno citwakerani nake ni murugamiriri wa thukuru wa municipality mwena wa Kiruya agitutariria mehariria ma kigenio gia KCP ondo mwena KIPSEA kira gitanyetwo kembereria Jumatatu ya kiumia gigiukite na aragikiuga ati ni makihariirie gukigana ugitigire ati arutwo ni magiko magikaria kigenio giki na njira njega kuma kaunti-ini ya Kirinyaga thukuru-ini wa muthingi wa municipality mwena wa Kiruya kegucokerie mwaro mwena wa kwa studio.
Nĩ ngatho hwainĩ kuma kũrĩa Kirinyaga na arutwo arĩa othe maraikarĩra kĩgeranio kwambĩrĩria kiumia twerekeire tũkamendekithĩria ũhotani thĩinĩ wa igeranio ciao. Kwa ndagĩka ĩno tũgũkinyia hau tabarĩra ya Ndurumeni Matuura-ini tũcemanie rĩngĩ ciehanda mũnyugĩ thaa 7 nĩ ũndũ wa mohoro gĩtau.